Hello. I wanted to make a video today for all of my peers in the knife industry who are finding a lot of frustration in figuring out how to find customers, what to do, how to become successful, what they are doing wrong. I get asked a lot of these things very regularly. So I want to answer this because I have a unique perspective. I do not own the most successful knife company. My knife brand is Exodus Knife and Tool. I do not have the most successful YouTube channel. Look around, I'm just below 31,000 subscribers. But running this YouTube channel, focusing a lot on knife reviews and knife testing of other people's knives, what some people would call my competition's knives, while simultaneously running a knife brand and internally, truly being a knife customer, being a consumer, being a hobbyist, being a person who loves this industry. I am in a weird position where I not only work with other YouTube channels and influencers with my own brand, but I also work with other companies as a YouTube guy myself. And I also look at companies and know what I wish they would do as a person who is genuinely personally interested in their products. So from this perspective, I would like to give you guys, knife makers, people in the knife industry, you don't have to be a maker for this to be helpful. You could actually be more successful than myself and still find something useful in this video. Anybody, and you know what, you don't even have to be in the knife industry. You can run a business doing anything else. I think that we're going to talk about some things that you are going to find helpful. So stick around and make sure that if you enjoy what you see here, maybe you take some notes, pass it on to your peers. Hello, I'm Jacob and you are watching the Prepper's Bunker Outdoors. Before we get started, I want to give a shout out to my patrons on Patreon. Your patronage helps me fund this channel to do honest gear reviews and videos while being paid by the subscriber and viewer instead of the incorporation. I believe that helps keep things honest. Also, you can check out my personal businesses, Exodus Knife and Tool for my knives, and Beach and Tactical for my custom handmade to order slings, slings that I designed while serving in Afghanistan. Finally, for the month of August, my channel sponsor is Combat Art Training, another veteran making his own product, revolutionary, awesome products at a great price. Please check him out. All of these links will be in the description box below, along with my affiliate links, as well as a coupon code to Kentuckiana Gunworks. He makes awesome oil and grease. It's the only stuff that I use for my pews. Let's get you right back to the content. So the first piece of advice that I'm going to give personally is to own one of each model of product that you produce. In my experience, even most custom makers have models that they return to even if they make changes to them. In my experience also, custom knife makers have more difficulty than anybody that I know keeping a production model of their own knife on hand. I feel that normally what you see happen is a knife maker makes a knife model, maybe they make 1,000 of them, and they finally get around to making themselves one that's really, really nice. Because the first one they ever made, they sold. So they make one that's really nice for themselves. And as soon as they get done making it, someone's like, hey, I will give you $500 for that knife. I want to buy it right now. Or I want to buy your knife. They say, no, it's not for sale. They say, name your price. They name a price and the person buys it. I can't encourage you enough. Keep one of each of your model. I struggled with this myself. This is my Jackalope right here in high vis. The high vis color. Red is the last color that your eye can see when light is diminishing, which is why we chose to go this route. It's available with the Jackalope as shown and the Adventure Craft, okay? My struggle with this was I wanted to own the coolest custom options that I offered. So I had desert ironwood handle scales and this and that and the other. And when I showed them off in my posts, people would complain, you know, where can I buy one? I'm sorry, I won't have another run. This is a special custom run. Then why are you showing it off? Good point. I have sold all of my favorite color patterns, and now I keep one of both of my knife designs in the standard production colors. So that is my high vis. This is my most standard color. This is low vis. This is a custom blended Parkerized Cerakote with natural micarta scales. Okay, so essentially, I absolutely love my knife designs. I mean, as I should, right? I designed them for what I think a knife should be, so of course I love them. But that makes it easy for me to carry them every day, and that rolls into the next thing, which is generating content. Because making the best knife in the world doesn't matter if you need to make money off of it to make a living and you can't sell it. So every single knife model that you personally own, try to keep one example at least of that knife model to show off. By the way, this is Noviz. So this is that custom blended Cerakote from tip to pommel, all matte, non-reflective. These are really cool. I see this as a way that countless custom makers that I personally know, they struggle to do this. That ties directly into my next piece of advice, which is marketing. I can't tell you how many custom knife makers I know who are killing themselves to try and make a living off of their knives, and they don't understand how a few of these boutique production knife companies, potentially like myself, are selling knives at the prices that they are selling them at. I'm not going to name any names, but there's one in particular recently that my friend was talking about. It's a knife with about a 7-inch blade, and it sells for about $500. A price range in which you could get an absolutely astounding custom knife built with your favorite colors, right? And so it's hard for people to understand that. Well, in the cost of your product, I actually fail at doing this myself. In the cost of your product, you have to include the cost of marketing. Coca-Cola isn't spending billions of dollars a year marketing their product across the entire world and just eating that, right? You are paying for it when, I should probably say if, you buy their soda. So owning your own products can help with that greatly. That's why I do it. I can show it off myself. But if you make the best product in the whole world, the number one best product that has ever existed at the best price, just you found a way to just revolutionize the entire world, but you can't get word about that out. You're just unable to crack the code and let people know and make sales. What have you gained? You have to be able to sell the product. So how do you do that? I don't do this probably the right way. I have this channel with 30,000 subscribers. I am working on building my own Instagram, right? I'm working on marketing myself, and yet I still send product out. You have to. It is literally the world that we live in. And all of these YouTube reviewers, okay, it's really easy to think these guys want something for free. However, they are offering a service that you don't want to do and that you do not do. Why? Potentially, if the boot fits, because it's work. They're not wanting product for free. Now you have to measure whether or not they are a good fit for your brand, whether or not they actually will do enough work to make it worth it, etc., etc., etc. But whether you are, I've just started paying to have a verified Instagram account. It hurts me to say that because I absolutely hate Meta as a whole with a passion. But I'm paying for this account. And I was finally promoting a post, a video that I made. I have not and will not tack that cost onto the cost of my knives. I am hoping to sell enough knives to soak that up. If you're a custom maker who is making less knives and you're making every single knife, you can't really soak that up. You have to consider the cost of going to Blade Show, of going to trade shows, of gas, of vehicle wear, of knives that you're sending out, of promotions that you're paying for, of subscriptions that you're paying for, right? The big companies, they're all sitting around fat, rich, and happy, but they're not just stagnant. They're paying for all this stuff because they know that they have to, and you have to as well. The next piece of advice that I have for you, again, ties into the last piece of advice, and that is building brand loyalty. This is one as a customer that I have felt greatly. Dex, look at me. Hey, what's all over your face? Brand loyalty. Okay, so I want to mention something that I think was done poorly, which you're generally not supposed to do, but the old Ontario Knife and Tool Company would post professional photography that was off color. It just was not the right market, not the right feel. It didn't really connect with their target audience. And they would tag the photographer. So I followed the trail, and it was some food photographer in England who is being paid to take this photography who doesn't even show it themselves. Does not even show knives on their page. And what happens there is, however that happened, whatever kind of back channel handshakes had to happen for that to happen, the person who sent that picture has no loyalty to Ontario Knife Company. The people who follow that page never even see the picture. The people who look at the picture on Ontario's page go to that person and don't see any more substance there. You have roadblock after roadblock after roadblock across the board. It's a bad idea. It's a bad investment. This particular individual is not bringing any of his following to Ontario. He doesn't even care about the product or use the product. And Ontario is not giving back to the community and showing reciprocation to their fans and their fan base. I mean, they went out of business for a reason. This is some of the dumbest stuff I've ever seen. But what I want to say here is social media gives you the opportunity to directly show your fan base your appreciation by using their content, right? So you can use your customers' content and they will generate it for you for free, and they will thank you when you share it. It's something that people would have only dreamed about 20 years ago, okay? So all of your, like, let's say Loophole, 99 out of 100 posts that Loophole is going to post is going to be paid professional photographers and actors and this and that and the other, and they make sure that every single post perfectly fits the aesthetic that they're going to across their entire page. That works to a degree, But that's the old way of doing it. And guess what? If you're a small company, you can't afford to do that. And it's 2023, guys. That is not the right answer anymore. So build this community by sharing posts from the people who love your product. You make them personally invested in your product. You encourage them, and they are going to market your product for you, not just in pictures, but to their friends, their family, to the people that they see. Social media should be about bringing people together, and I cannot encourage you enough. Use a repost app on any social media, on your website, whatever it is you do. Maybe you don't do social media. I don't care. Somehow people find you, and you can thank your customers for being invested in your brand by sharing their pictures and giving them a little shout out. The last tip that I want to give is collaborating and finding like-minded businesses. On my business page, I try every Saturday, I don't succeed, but I try every Saturday to share a new small knife company that I have found. On my business page on Instagram and Facebook, I share someone else's knives. Small Business Saturday. And that does a few things. For one, the pages always appreciate it because your page consists of followers who are interested in things that you do. So if you know someone else who does something similar, you share them, and the people who like you now see that they like them too. People will appreciate that. There's this old idea of people are like stealing from me. I don't want people to copy me. I don't want to give people the ability. Nobody can steal anything from you because you're not just selling a product, you're selling you. There have been multiple big companies who have tried to rip off my flagship knife or tried to get at some of my marketing. They've used my own marketing language in their advertisements. I don't care because they screw every single one up because they don't mean it. They didn't design it for the same reasons that I design it, right? These products, they see whatever relative success that I have at Blade Show and at trade shows, my products do very, very well. They don't know why, and so they're throwing darts to try and replicate it, and they can't. And what that ends up, they end up investing a lot of money and time into developing a product that is never going to catch people's attention like mine. Don't worry about people stealing your idea, whatever. Don't worry about talking about other companies. I talk up other companies all the time. Like, I love SE Knives, okay? I think in a certain segment, SE and myself sell a very similar product. I don't care. They're good people. They're selling a good product. If someone would rather buy from them than from me, but they heard of them from me, well, then maybe they'll like my next product. And you know what? Maybe someone likes them and heard about me because I was talking about them and looking at my stuff, and then they buy my product. So there are certainly companies that I don't like, but I'm not afraid of talking about companies that I do like. And to go with that, collaborations. I just recently did a collaboration with the Crispy Donut community. Really cool group of law enforcement guys making a fun product. This isn't the collaboration knife that we did with them, but it was similar. I had to make a certain number of these knives. It was a little bit more than they wanted, so I'm going to sell the excess. But we have here a little different than what they sold. This is a donut themed knife. That's very different, very, very different than what my typical customer and supporter is interested in. And what I typically do is very different than what their fan base does. But you know what? They're really cool guys, and by collaborating with them, we can mix our fan bases a little bit, right? I've noticed, for instance, that for selling, okay, for some people, auctions work really, really well. For some people, just direct sales work really, really well. And for some people, raffles work really, really well. Raffles don't work for me, guys. I've tried so many raffles where I thought that the price that I was asking was incredibly modest, moderate, far less profit than what I see in some other people's raffles, and they don't move at all. I have also auctioned some things that sold at 5 times what they were worth because the people who buy from me were bidding. They really wanted something, and the people who buy from me prefer to bid in an auction. And in similar light, I have sold premium products at a very high price, thrown it on the website. I've only got one of these. It was really expensive for me to make. This is the cost. It sells. But that same item at that same cost with $10, $5, $20, $25 tickets, doesn't matter. Raffle it, doesn't work. Okay, and so I've tried to explain this to a couple friends who've struggled here or there. Like, I just can't sell in this way, and I don't understand because everybody else can. It's because you have built a group of people that is unique for your brand. So once you learn what they like, lean into that. But on the flip side, when you're working with other brands, when you're doing collaborations, when you're meeting people, when you're rubbing elbows, when you're trying to help your peers in the industry as a whole, a little bit of mixing your groups of followers and customers can go a really, really long way. All right, I hope that helped. I'm going to wrap this up really quick here. The last thing that I've really got to say, try to market frequently. So if your customers are sharing pictures and you can just repost them, do that, because not all of us, myself included, can afford to make a reel and to make posts yourself every day. But when you need to make your own content, whether you work in a factory or you work in the woods or you're completely full-time working on knives, it's easier to make that content every day if you've got your products on you. Marketing yourself is hard. It feels weird. It's uncomfortable. You've got to do it. So, but if you can encourage your customers and your fans to do it for you and show them your appreciation for doing that, the hardest part of your job has already been done. I did want to mention really quick, I've showed a few products here today which are on my website in stock, which is a pretty rare thing. I usually sell out really quick. We have the Noviz knives that I mentioned earlier. Those are in stock and ready to ship, both the Jackalope and the Adventurecraft. And I do not think that they will be selling out anytime soon. Lord willing, I will have enough of these to take to some trade shows that I have coming up. I have some really cool custom options as well. I've got some wood scales and stuff like that on the website right now that I'm really excited about. The donut knife that I showed earlier is not on the website yet. It will be on the website soon. Another thing that I want to mention, and I want to give a shout out, we are going to have production leather accessories available and ready to ship from Reliance Leatherworks. I love working with other companies of like-minded people. The primary thing that I intend to keep in stock from them are these vertical leather danglers that will attach to your factory sheaths. Again, Reliance Leatherworks. I got this idea from Bushcraft Kelso. Thank you, brah. I appreciate it so much. Let's see. Now, I don't have any here with me. I'm just realizing it's an absolute failure. Spirit of the Bear Designs is my custom leather guy. He has all of my knives. If you want a custom mind-blowing leather sheath or accessory, hit him up. He can make it for you without having to send your knife in. And I think that's it. I'm forgetting something else, and now I'm stumbling all over my own words because I'm screwing this up. What in the crap did I want to end with? I did not want to end with talking about these accessories necessarily. I don't know. Collaborate with cool people, though. Reliance Leatherworks are, in fact, cool people. If you're going to be at Georgia Bushcraft's fall gathering, make sure to swing by, say what's up. I will be this year. I will not only be teaching classes, but I will also have a booth for my knives there. Tons of good people. Go meet like-minded folks. I guess that's all I got. I'll remember later that I forgot something important and be pissed at myself, but I hope that you have a blessed day. I'll talk to you in the comment section below.